welcome to Chapter 6 here. We are going to take a look at the first day today. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is some vocabulary. So our first vocabulary word for today, let's see if I can get this, is a reference angle. And a reference angle is the angle formed with the x-axis. And I should mention that all the angles we're going to look at form angles with the x-axis and then its terminal side right here. So here would be the angle we were looking at right here. Coterminal angle is an angle that has the same terminal side. And when you're looking at an angle, this part right here, that's our terminal side. This is what's called in standard position. A reminder of what an isosceles triangle is two congruent sides, and it also has two congruent angles. And then that Pythagorean theorem, that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So now when we look down here, we're going to take a look at some reference angles. So let's see what would be an angle in the first quadrant. Let's say 50 degrees. So that means our reference angle is the angle between the x-axis and our terminal side. So our reference angle is 50 degrees. However, if the terminal side is in the second quadrant, so let's say our angle here is 130 degrees, this part right here is our reference between the angle, the terminal side, and the x-axis. So let's see, that would be 50 degrees because 180 is that straight line there, the x-axis. If it's in the third quadrant, so let's say from here to here is, I don't know, 220 degrees. We're concerned about what is the angle measure between our terminal side and the x-axis. Well, this is 180. And 220, so our reference angle would be 40 degrees. And if it's in this fourth quadrant, let's say it's 300 degrees. So we have our angle starting here and wrapping all the way around. So we're concerned about this. Well, all the way around is 360, so this has to be 60 degrees. So here we're asked to find the reference angle. I think the easiest thing is to draw our angle here. So it always starts with a positive x-axis, and 123 would be in here. And we're concerned about this angle here. Well, that would be 180 minus 123. So we have 57 degrees as our reference angle. Well, 367, well, let's see, that goes all the way around is 360. So that would be, if we were to go, start here and go all the way around, well, that would be 360, so this has to be 7 degrees. Negative 139, so again, we're starting here, but instead of going counterclockwise, we're going clockwise. So 139 would be here. And again, we're concerned about this angle. Well, to here would be negative 180. So 180 minus 139. We have 41 degrees. Well, 715, let's see, that's a couple laps around the circle. So if we subtract 360, 355. So that means that we're down here. So if that's 355, this would have to be 5 degrees. So the next thing we're asked to do on this page is name all angles that have a 30-degree reference angle. Well, the first one would be easy in this first quadrant. That would just be 30 degrees. But it's saying if there's a reference of 30 right here, what is this angle? Well, that would have to be 150 degrees. if we have it down here, if this is 30 degrees, what is the entire angle? Well, that would be 180 plus 30, so that's 210. And then our last one, if we know that this is 30, we're asked for all the way around here. Well, that's 360 minus 30, or 330 degrees. So then it asks for 45, and we could draw this on one. So what is 45, 45, 45, and 45? Well, here would be 45 degrees. Again, this is 180, so 180 minus 45, 135, 180 plus 45,
Sorry for the
225,
interruption. We just wanted to take this time
360
to
minus
give the exact
45,
information to all students and staff.
315.
First of all, we want to congratulate students on
Look at 60-degree reference angles. So if this was 60, 60, 60, and 60. Well, this first quadrant is pretty easy, 60 degrees. And then here we have to look, well, this is 180, so 60 degrees above 180, 120. 60 degrees below would be 240. And let's see, 360 minus 60 would be 300. So, next thing we're going to do is this, we'll have to bring this back up again. We're going to take a look at some coterminal angles and that vocabulary. And we talked a little bit about this earlier, where we said what coterminal was that same terminal side. So what it is here is it says identify one positive coterminal angle and one negative and your reference. So where is 330? Well, 330 is right here. Well, reference would be really easy because it's 30 degrees away. And then our coterminals. Well, to get back to that same spot, we just have to add 360. So 330 plus 360 would be 990. And then we could do 330 minus 360 for our negative, which would be negative 30 degrees. So let's see, 225 right down here. So 180 to 225. Well, our reference would be 45 degrees. And then that coterminal, let's see, we could do 225 plus 360. So we have 585 degrees. And 225 minus 360, so we have, would that be negative 135 degrees. And then finally we have 140, so in this quadrant. So our reference, how far to the x-axis? Well, that would be 40 degrees. And then coterminal, so we have 140, and we can add 360. So we end up with 600 degrees, and 140 minus 360, so that would be negative 120 degrees. Then on the second page, it's a little, what do we remember from geometry? Well, here's our isosceles triangle. So two sides are the same in two angles, so this would be x and x. So a variety of ways you could do this one. I might do 180 minus 40, so there's 130 degrees left for those two angles. Divide it by 2, and we end up with 65 degrees. And then that Pythagorean theorem, that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have x squared plus 6.3 squared, 15.4 squared. So minus 6.3 squared. So we have x squared equals, and once we get whatever that is, we just have to take the square root, and we would have what x is.